when I got to bodybuilding, I wasn't the best, so I went and talked to the guys who were the best, like Flex and Kevin and all those guys, and they gave me the knowledge that took me to the next level.
We were in wrestling one time, and he came to me, and I had won everything, you know, 6 straight shows.
I was placing like 4th and 5th, you know, in every show because I was kind of like burnt out for the most part, you know, from doing all those shows anyway. I did the Olympia, I did the show before the Olympia, so I'm kind of like burnt out. But I remember Kevin is winning every show, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing to win all these shows? So I went to Kevin's room. I like, Kevin.
I was in there eating pizza and stuff, you know, just chilling. I had just one show. Heard a knock on the door. Look, open the door. It's Ronnie.
Hey, man, what you doing? You don't mind if I come in here? I want to ask you something.
I said, all right, come on in, big dog. You know, what's up?
Man, what's the trick? What you doing, Kevin?
What are you doing? How are you staying so hard, you know, to win all these shows? He's like, you want to know what I'm doing? I'm like, yeah.
I said, dude, I said, listen, man. I said, you been carrying your food around. You're so serious. You're measuring out your food. You're doing. You gotta just relax, Ronnie. I said, won't you just have a seat, man? Do a shot of his vodka with him.
So he goes over to his coffee maker, pours the coffee in a cup. Then he goes to the refrigerator and pours out a bottle of vodka. And he pours that into the cup. And he says, drink that. I'm like,
I don't drink no alcohol, Kevin. You know that? I don't drink no alcohol, man. Man, bodybuilders can't do that.
Dude, I don't drink no vodka. I don't drink alcohol.
I said, look, big dog. I said, listen, take a shot of this vodka, man. You'll be all right. I said, you know, you just chill, man. Take it easy. So he took a shot.
Man, you sure?
I said, yeah, I'm sure.
So I'm like, okay.
So he drank it, and
man, this stuff don't taste right, man. I ain't used to this in my body, but if you say do it, I'm gonna do it.
I said, all right, go ahead and drink that. All right, so he drank it. We sat down and talked a little more. Talked about training, working out. I gave him another shot. Gave him another shot. Gave him another shot, right? So about a 5th shot, he's like,
man, this stuff pretty good. Got it. Let me have another shot of that. Man, that vodka, that made me feel real good.
So he got up, and I said, listen, eat some of this pizza, ate a little bit of pizza. And he left and went to his room. So I didn't see him until the next morning. We woke up, you know, went to saw him backstage, you know, pumping up, pulled his clothes off. And I looked at him, dude, and my jaw just dropped. I was like, damn.
I drank that coffee and that vodka and went to the show the next day and beat Kevin.
I think that by him having the alcohol, it dehydrated him just a little more, but it was able to also relax him to not think about any food, not think about anything. And I think that relaxed state of mind just let the water just leave his body. And when Ronnie hit that stage, man, it was all over. It was like, where this dude come from?
I remember going into the Olympia, they said, Dorian ain't competing this year, so the Olympia's wide open. Flex had been getting second, Kevin had been getting second, Sean Ray had been getting second, NASA had been getting second. I'm like, well, I ain't got a prayer.
Leading up to the competition, you know, it was highly anticipated because Dorian wasn't there anymore and everyone was like trying to see where they were going to fit in.
There was me, Nasserel somebody, Kevin. Ronnie Coleman wasn't even on my top 6 list.
The media at the time, which was only magazines, was pumping up Flex Wheeler, you know, Flex Wheeler, you know, Sultan of Symmetry, Flex Wheeler, you know, 93 Arnold Classic, you know, 94. And, I mean, you're expecting this.
He managed to go from getting his pro card to being, you know, the top in Mr. Olympia all in the same year. You know, that was in 93.
His first pro year, he swept through everything. Every pro show, he won. And as the Olympia came, you kind of really expected for that to one day, you know, end up on his mantle.
Flex Wheeler, congratulations for winning the Arnold's Classic. And tell me now, how much did it help you to to come out of this kind of a momentum of winning the Ironman competition a week ago?
I think it played a tremendous influence on me, especially that was my first pro debut, and I won that show, and I think it gave me a little momentum going into this show, which I think I needed quite a bit.
Flex was always the heir apparent to the title.
Flex Wheeler was definitely looking to be the heir apparent to the throne.
It was the heir apparent, logically, who would be the guy to win.
From that time, he was always destined to be the next guy.
I would have bet millions he would never win the Olympia. The first 5-6 years of his career, he was a journeyman pro, had a good few shows, but you never really thought he was going to.
Backstage in New York City, I knew that it was pretty much game over for me. It was night and day. There was Ronnie, and then there was everybody else.
We all took up our clothes and went out there to compete. That's when you knew that it was going to be a changing of the guard.
And I remember going into the show and being compared to Flex and Kevin and, you know, those guys that I had already won. And a couple of times they had put me in the middle, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing pretty good here. They put me in the middle, comparing me to the big dogs of the sport.
I think in 1998, the world had never seen the total package that Ronnie Coleman presented. And when he presented that package, he knocked out a bunch of Hall of Fame bodybuilders in their prime. And although Flex Wheeler thought he was in the hunt, I don't think he was beating Ronnie Coleman in any of the poses.
My goal was just place the top 5, you know. I was like, man, if I could just place the top 5 in Olympia, you know, it'll be a dream come true. And I remember they called, you know, like 5th and 6th, and I'm still standing there, and they called 4th. I'm like, oh, shucks, I'm doing pretty good. 3rd, and I'm still standing there. I'm like, whoa. And then I can remember me and Flex standing there, and they were down to 1st and 2nd. I'm like, wow. I was truly blown away. And then Wayne, when he called out 2nd place, he waited for a long time.
That's when he collapsed, of course, the famous officer down move that he did. But I think that got to everybody. That made everybody in that theatre, Madison Square, got warm to this guy. Here was the guy, real emotion, had taken the sport's top title when nobody thought I had a chance. It was a rocky story, you know. Everybody was happy for him.
To be at the top, the best in the whole world, you can't get no better feeling in the world than that.